progress.
Yeah. What are the layers in standalone application? Client application, nothing but class with main method. Interacts with the controller class. Controller class interacts with the service class. Service class interacts with the DAO class. DAO class interacts with the database software. Okay, but DAO class gets the connection object from connection pool with the support of data source object. So these are the layers in layered applications or not. DAO class contains persistence logic. Service class contains what? Business logic. And controller class contains monitoring logics. Client application contains presentation logic or UI logic. Client application contains presentation logics or UI logics. Everyone getting my point there, guys? Come on. DAO persistence, service business logic, controller monitoring logic, client application presentation logic. Tell me, if you give these classes to IOC container as a Spring Bean, we can do lifecycle management and injections now, boss. IOC container only creates data source, DAO, service, controller class object. That is lifecycle management. IOC container only injects data source object to DAO, DAO object to service, service object to controller. Anyhow, I'm going to create what? IOC container in the client application, ctx.getBean controller class bean ID. So somehow client application gets controller class object having the injection of service, service with DAO, DAO with what? Data source. Okay, by calling ctx.getBean method or not? By calling ctx.getBean method or not? Yesterday notes not uploaded. Maybe you are not seeing correct one. Let me check. Uploaded was. If you use common sense, it will apply. Okay. See guys, part 1 completed. That's why I started part 2. In anything, listen, anything, any section, we can have only 20 files. That's why I created part 2. There I uploaded. Please use common sense, Babu. IOC container injects DS to DAO, DAO to service, service to controller. Client application gets controller class object having what? ctx.getBean method. This controller class object contains service, DAO, DS objects as shown below. Okay, controller is having service, service having DAO, DAO is having DS. Why did we use a dependency injection in real projects? Why did we use a dependency injection in real projects? Or where did you use? My project is layered application. Where my project is layered application where DS is injected to DAO, DAO injected to service, service is injected to controller node. Client application gets controller class object by calling ctx.getBean method. I hope you got the idea how real-time people uses dependency injection. Stop giving Flipkart, DTDC, vehicle engine, student course material example. Please start giving this kind of generic examples, boss. Because it is healthcare project or bank project or any project. Data source, DAO, service, controller classes are quite common, right now, boss? Controller classes are quite common. What do you say, boss? Okay, boss. Tell me, boss. Need of Java. Now I'm introducing Java Bean, guys. Okay, now listen. Already we have watched Java Bean videos. Okay. Sir, client application wants to pass more than 3 values to controller. More than 3 values to controller. You should pass as a, tell me, different arguments of method, or you should pass as a single argument that is nothing but Java Bean class object. When you want to pass more than 3 values from one layer to another layer, when you want to pass more than 3 values from one layer to another layer, are you understanding my statement, guys? Yeah, tell me, guys. It is recommended to use, it is recommended to pass as multiple arguments, or better to keep multiple argument values in single object, pass that single object from one layer to another layer. Better to keep multiple values in single object, nothing but Java Bean class object, and pass those values from one layer to another layer. One layer to another layer. Got my point, guys? To pass more than 3 values across the multiple components of same project or different projects, we don't prefer creating method with more than 3 args or params. More than 3 args or params. We prefer creating method with what? Single param that takes Java Bean, and this Java Bean contains multiple properties. Multiple properties data. Multiple properties data. Convinced, my dear? Okay. Are very simple, Ra Babu. From the market, you decided to bring 20 items. You will carry 20 items individually, or you will keep in a carry bag and you will carry bag. You will carry 20 items individually and independently, separately? No. You will keep all the 20 items in one carry bag, and you will move carry bag from one place to another place, or not? From one place to another place, or not? Are you understanding my statement? A Java Bean is helper class that is developed having some standards, especially having getter setter methods. Especially having getter setter methods. VO class object, DTO class object, BO or entity or model class object was. Are 3 types of Java Beans are there in the market, Rabab. VO, value object class, DTO, data transfer object class, BO, business object, entity class or model class, all are one and the same, boss. VO. It is a Java Bean, guys, that is designed to carry inputs or outputs. That is designed to carry inputs or outputs. Generally, all inputs will be given in the form of strings. All outputs will be displayed in the form of string. That's why this class contains only string properties. That's why this class contains only string properties. Check it out. The Java Bean whose object holds either inputs or outputs as string property values is called VO class. That means all the properties of VO class will be taken as string type properties. Will be taken as string type properties. Clear, guys? Client application gives multiple inputs to controller as VO class, or controller gives multiple outputs to client application as VO class object. Array, how client gives multiple inputs to controller as VO class object data, right? If controller gets multiple outputs, how it will be passed to client? Again as VO class object, right now, boss? VO class object. Here also VO class object. Okay, sample VO class, guys. Check it out. Student VO dot Java. Public class student VO, SNO, SNAME, M1, M2, M3. Setter getter method. VO class contain all its properties as string properties. VO class maintain all its properties as string properties. Convenience, guys, convinced or not, boss? No, these are standard names, guys. There are standard names, industry standard names. SNO string, SNAME string, M1, M2, M string. VO class contains all its properties as string properties. Okay, VO means all string property because it represent either reading inputs or displaying outputs. Either reading inputs or displaying outputs. Super. DTO class, guys, data transfer object class. Now listen, it's a Java bean whose object holds shippable data either within the project or across the multiple projects. Either within the project, across the multiple projects, with or without network is called a DTO class. The Java bean whose object holds shippable or transferable data, whether within a project or across the project, okay, over the network is called DTO class. This class contains different types of properties and also implements serializable. Alright, to send any Java class object over the network, we need to make object as serializable object or not. Once the object is serializable object, JVM becomes ready to convert data of the object into bits and bytes, and we can send those bits and bytes over the network. And we can send those bits and bytes over the network. What do you say, guys? We can send those bits and bytes over the network. What do you say, guys? We can send only serialized objects data over the network as bits and bytes. Object becomes serializable only when it implements what? Serializable interface. Only when it implements what? Serializable interface. It's a marker interface or not? Empty interface or not? By seeing implementation of that interface on the class, objects of the class become serializable. That means that object data can be converted into bits and bytes. Once they are converted into bits and bytes, okay, they can be sent it over the network to send it to other machine, or they can be written to file for persistence. They can be written to file for persistence. Getting my point, guys? Okay, guys. Flipkart.com wants to give credit card details to PayPal. PayPal is a payment broker. Okay, how many details it wants to give? 5 details. Tell me, boss. We should take that class. Instead of passing as 5 individual values, you can keep all the 5 values in one DTO class object, and we can send the DTO class object over the network or not. From Flipkart to PayPal, from Flipkart to PayPal. From Flipkart to PayPal, we can send in the form of DTO class object. We can send only serialized objects data over the network as bits and bytes. Object becomes serializable only when its class implements what? Okay, java.io.serializable, guys. JVM makes serializable Serializable interface implementation class object as serializable object. That means that object data can be sent over the network as bits and bytes over the network, or can be written to a file as bits and bytes. Okay. Sir, serializable empty interface na? Array, by seeing that interface implementation on any class, JVM treats that class object as special object. What object? Serializable object. So that object data can be transferred in the form of bits and bytes. Once they are exposed as bits and bytes, that can be written over the network, that can be written to a file, that can be written over the network, that can be written to a file, guys. Okay, guys. Super, guys. Tell me, guys. Tell me here. Customer card info DTO dot Java. Card info DTO dot Java. Understanding my statement? Public class card info DTO implement java.io.serializable. Card number, name of the card, gateway, expiry date, CVV. Right now, boss? Okay. Raju Reddy, serializable interface will not convert, worst fellow. Core Java, now you are getting clarification. By seeing serializable interface implementation, JVM will take the responsibility of converting object data into bits and bytes. What, guys? Now one more guy started. What is clonable interface? You will be allow me to teach Spring, or should I continue Core Java teaching only? Guys, what's happening, guys? Okay. Clonable is for cloning object. Cloning means creating duplicate object, right? By seeing clonable interface, JVM makes object as what? Clonable object. That means we can create duplicate object easily. Duplicate object through clone method of object class, right, boss? Clonable, serializable are empty interfaces. Interface won't do anything, Babu. By seeing interfaces implementation on the classes, the JVM will create objects of the classes as special objects. That's the reason these are called marker interfaces, because they mark classes for special behavior so that JVM will start providing special runtime capabilities to the objects of those classes by seeing these interface implementation. Right now, okay, guys. At what type of object we can use serializable implementation? Ramsetti Gauri Priyanka, 2 minutes back I said DTO class implement serializable. Just no, I said na madam. Flipkart wants to send credit card details to PayPal, debit card details to PayPal. Flipkart is a separate project, PayPal is a separate project. Between them, network will be there or not there. There or not there. Mr. Priyanka madam, can you respond? In that situation, all the 5 details of credit card, I want to bind in single object and I want to send over the network. In the situation, we take the Java Bean. We just take Java Bean implementing serializable. We just take Java Bean implementing serializable. We prefer taking Java Bean with serializable, right? I hope. Empty interfaces, marker interface does nothing on their own. By seeing those interface implementation, JVM will provide special runtime capabilities to implementation class objects. So don't give credit to empty interfaces, give credit to JVM. Okay. Give credit to JVM or container who are providing special runtime capabilities to this. Marker interfaces. Marker interfaces. You are making me to teach core Java about. Empty interfaces does nothing on their own, right? On their own. By seeing these marker interfaces implementation, these marker interfaces implementation, the underlying JVM or container or framework provides special runtime capabilities to the implementation class objects. Special runtime capabilities to the implementation class objects. Capabilities to the implementation class objects. Card number, name of the card, gateway, expiry date, CVV, getter, settlement. Okay. Now listen carefully, guys. Listen. Cardinfo.dto.java. Okay. Within the project, controller to service, the data will be passed in the form of DTO. Client to controller in the form of VO object. Okay. Controller to DT service, the data will be passed in the form of DTO class object. More importantly, project 1 to project 2 over the network, the data will be passed in the form of DTO class object. Within the project, controller to service. Across the projects, again DTO comes into picture. Everyone getting my point, guys? within a project, within a project, multiple values from the controller layer to service layer will be passed in the form of, will be passed in the form of, what is there, miss? Will be passed in the form of DTO class object. Superna boss. Okay. Across the multiple projects, across the multiple projects, the multiple values will be passed, in the form of DTO class objects. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Aditya, see, don't attend classes right from the minute one. Client passes inputs to controller in the form of VO class object. 2 minutes back, I discussed it, na boss. 2 minutes back, I discussed. And guys, okay. Controller to client also VO, na? Multiple values means it will be VO, right? In the form of DTO class object. Flipkart sends, example. Flipkart sends multiple values, credit card multiple values, credit card multiple values to PayPal in the form of, what guys? In the form of DTO class object. In the form of DTO class object. Yes, boss? Okay, next one is what? BO class or entity class or model class. It's a Java bean that whose object holds persistible data. Persistible data. The data that wants to be inserted in table. The data that is collected from DB table, right? The Java bean whose object holds either persistible data to be saved to DB table or persistent data gathered from DB table is called BO class or entity class or model class. Is called BO class or entity class or model class. The data of this Java bean class object represents, okay, to be inserted data or collected data from DB table record. While saving object, it represents what? To be saved. While in the retrieving activity, the collected from this. Generally, this class will be taken on 1 per DB table basis, where the property types and count will be matched with the DB table column types and count. If you have a 10 tables, boss, we will taking 10 BO classes. 20 tables means we will be taking 20 BO classes. Okay, this is my DB table, guys. Total DB table. Total ID, name, type, location, price per day. Location, price per day. HID, name, type, location, price per day. Same property names, having different types, guys. Having different types. Getter setter methods are there. Total BO dot Java. So that means these property values can be inserted into these table column values. These table column values can be gathered and stored into this BO class object. This BO class object, what do you say, guys? Possible or not? Possible or not? HID, name, type, location, price per day, right? Java beans in layered applications are useful to carry multiple values from one layer to another layer in the form of single object data, guys. Okay. Are Java beans are helper components or Java beans are main classes? In any project, Java beans will be used as helper components only to carry multiple values from one layer to another layer, one component to another component in the form of single object data. Come on. Java beans are always helper components, right, boss? Java beans are always helper components, boss. Okay, now listen carefully. Whenever you take a properties, if you observe very carefully, I'm not using simple data type properties. I'm taking wrapper data type. Check it out, DTO, wrapper data types. In the here also, wrapper data types I'm preferring now, boss. Why, sir? Simple data type default values are what? Integer 0, float 0.0. If no value is there, they will be inserting 0 and 0.0 to DB table columns. But when no value is given, I don't want to insert anything. So if it is wrapper type, they will hold default value null. When null is there in any property, nothing will be inserted in the DB table. Nothing, no value will be inserted in the DB table. At the time of retrieve also same thing. From the DB table column, no value came. If it is simple data type integer float, they will hold 0, 0.0 as the default values. If now nothing has come from DB table columns, then they will hold null values. Null value means no values. Null value means no values. Prefer wrapper data type properties in Java beans because they hold null as the default values. If no value is given, okay, whereas simple data type hold 0, 0.0 as default values, which can be a legal value, Understanding my statement? Which can be legal or illegal value. Which can be a illegal value. Which can be a illegal value. Okay, guys. Blindly we can go for wrapper types. Because wrapper types are objects, guys. Default values are null, guys. Null means no value, guys. If I save the data to the DB table as a record, nothing will be inserted, guys. If I retrieve the record also, nothing comes to BO class object, guys. Nothing comes to BO class object, guys. Legacy style layered applications. Tell me. Legacy style layered application. Client application passes VO class object to controller class. Controller class passes DTO class object to service class. Service class gives persistable data to DAO class in the form of BO class object. DAO class will insert them in DB table by sending and executing SQL query inputs. So how client is passing multiple values to controller as VO class object. Controller is passing to service in the form of one DTO class object. Service is passing persistable data to DAO in the form of BO class object. DAO class will send and execute SQL queries in database software by putting inputs to the SQL query. By simply putting SQL query, inputs to the SQL query. Right now, boss? For one use case, we need one VO, one DTO, one BO. For example, in our project, we have faculty registration. related to faculty, one VO, one DTO, one BO. We have customer registration, customer related VO, customer related DTO, customer related BO. I have check deposit, check related VO, check related DTO, check related BO. But nowadays, what's happening, they are not encouraging us to take multiple Java Bean classes like VO, BO, DTO. They are saying take single Java Bean using all the 3 layers. See, taking multiple Java Beans and creating objects for them is not that much recommended. In modern projects, the industry preferring to use single Java Bean class to carry data across all the layers of a project. That single Java Bean class is technically called model class. Model means data, that's why model class. Check it out. Single Java class only for all the layers. Client to controller as model class object. Controller to service as model class object. Service to DAO as model class object. DAO to database software as model class object. Convinced, guys? Stop working with VO, DTO, BO. Everywhere you take what? Same Java Bean class object. Everywhere you take what? Normal Java Bean class object and pass the data. Pass the data. Model class. Java Bean having all the required properties in all the layers of a project. With respect to each use case. With respect to each use case. All the properties required in all the layers will be kept in single Java Bean, and that object will be used to pass data across the multiple layers of a project or across the multiple projects of across the multiple projects that are involved in communication. One use case, one model class. Note, each task is called one use case. Employee registration. Employee registration means employee related card operation. Inserting employee, deleting employee, updating employee, selecting employee. One DT, one model class case. Account opening, related to account, one model class. Loan registration, related to loan info, one model class. Availing debit card, related to debit card information, one model class. I hope you understood, guys. Okay. Tell me, boss, what's happening? In layered application, multiple values from one layer to another layer will be passed as a single object by keeping data in single object, by binding data in single object. Clear, my dear? By binding the data in single object, by simply binding the data in single object. Okay. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Are you getting my point here, guys? Come on. Are you with me? Super. Okay, guys. I think you got the message. Everyone who's seen the message in the chat box. Our next class will be on Monday, but I will give a lot of videos to watch. For me, holiday. For you, not holiday, right? I will give a lot of videos to watch in these 2 days. Okay. Super, guys. Shall we? I think, no, listen carefully. Very much important, guys. We understood importance of layered application. Next. Okay. If I make those layer classes as Spring Beans, how IOC container treats them, we understood. We understood connection pool and data source importance. Now, how that Java being used in those layer application to pass the data is got the clarity, boss. I'm unveiling one by one, one by one, one by one. This is what we do after joining in the company. This is what we do after joining in the company. Clear, my dear? Okay, now I'll ask one small question, guys. I'll ask one small question here. We are having layered application. Super. In the DAO, exception raised, boss. So in the DAO class method itself, I kept try catch. In the DAO class method itself, I kept try catch blocks. In the DAO class method itself, I kept try catch blocks. Are you listening my statement, guys? Are you listening my statement? In the DAO class method itself, I kept try catch blocks. Okay, tell me, boss, whenever exception is raised in the method, the control goes to catch block. Their exception is suppressed, na, boss? If exception is suppressed in the DAO itself, does it pass it to service? If it is not passed to service, does it pass it to controller? If it is not passed to control, does it pass it to client? No. So if it is not passed to client, does it give information to end user? Does it give information to end user? No. So that means in layered application, catching and handling exception in the last layers is very danger, na, boss? Is very, very danger, na, boss? For example, you take 4 employee hierarchy: worker, supervisor, manager, director. Director is the person who takes all the decisions. In worker mission, some problem raised. He handled it and he suppressed the problem. Easy passing to supervisor? No. Easy supervisor passes that information to manager? No. Manager passes that information to director? No. Since the director is not aware of problem, is there any solution for the problem? No. So that means worker is working with a defected machine? Yes. When worker is working with a defected machine, production will be reduced or not? It will affect overall productivity or not? So suppressing problem, hiding problem is going to work out, Ra Babu? Aditya, see, in the DAO class method, I have taken try catch block. Inside the try, exception rises. Control goes to catch block. Exception is suppressed there only, na? But D fellow, this Aditya don't know core Java also sometimes. Exception raised in the try block. Control goes to catch block. Exception is suppressed there only, na, boss? Because we are catching and handling it. Are we passing that exception to service? Guys, more Java I'm expecting from you, Babu. Are we passing to controller? Are we passing to client? Since not pass it to client, does it inform it to end user? So we should think about alternate, na, boss? We should think about alternate. What is alternate? DAO class method should declare the exception to be thrown using throws and throw. Using throws and throw. So exception raised in DAO, pass it to service. Service also do the same thing. Pass it to controller. Controller also do the same thing. Pass it to client. Client will catch and handle exception. and displays non-technical guiding message to end user. PAO throws, service throws, controller throws, client application catch and handle. So that client application can pass exception related messages to end user as non-technical guiding messages, Ra Babu. As non-technical guiding messages, Ra Babu. Look at the problem code first. Okay. What core Java you know is just basics. Real core Java is this. Okay. So don't come to me without core Java, boss. Public class, class 1. Now to feel practically. To feel practically, everyone. Public class, class 1. BM1 business method, try, catch. Here exception. Okay, tell me. Okay, this. Class 2, BM2. Class 1 object is created, BM1 is called. That means BM1 is calling BM2 method is calling BM1, right? Main application, main method, class 2 object is created. I am calling BM2 business method. I am calling BM2 business method. Look at the situation. Here exception rises. Where the control goes, catch block. And exception is suppressed in the class 1 itself. Exception is suppressed in the class 1 itself. Are we passing to class 2? No. Are we passing to main application? No. Are we? So if you are not passing to main application or client application, does it expose it to end user? Does it expose it to end user? I want reply. Does it expose it to end user? I want reply. Okay. Worker, supervisor, manager. Worker is suppressing the problem. Is it aware of manager? No. Supervisor? No. Aware of manager? No. Here end user is operating the application through main method by having method call order, main BM2 BM1. If exception is raised in BM1 business method, the control goes to its catch block and the exception will be eaten and suppressed there. Exception is eaten and suppressed there. Due to this, the exception will not be passed back to end user who is dealing with main method. End user is dealing with main method of the main application. So if exception has not gone to class 2, it will not gone to main application. If it is not gone to main application, it will not be displayed for end user. Right now, boss? Solution. Just exception propagation using throws keyword. Just exception propagation using throws keyword, right? Check it out. Check it out. Public class 1, BM1 throws exception. Okay. BM1 is called here. BM2 is called here. Here also end user, here also end user. Check it out, guys. Here exception rise. Are we catching and handling? When you don't catch and handle, it will go to caller. It will go to caller. Who is the caller of this method? Class 2 BM2. Are we catching and handling, boss? Are we catching and handling, boss? So it will go to its caller. It will go to its caller. Who is the caller? Main application, nothing but client application, right now, boss? Nothing but client application. Nothing but client application. Main application, nothing but client application. Main application, nothing but client application. Clear, my dear? Main application, nothing but client application. Tell me here, boss. Tell me here, boss. Class main application, main method, class 2 is equal to this. Now tell me now here what. Here I'm catching and handling exception. Super. So end user gets a non-technical guiding message related to the exception that is raised. Related to the exception that is raised. End user gets non-technical guiding message related to the exception that is raised. Say something, my dear. Say something, my dear. Related to the exception that is raised, it will give non-technical guiding message or not. Array, here we can write SOP statements now, boss. In the catch block, we can write SOP statements, right? Muddy fellow. Print stack trace is one thing. If you needed, we can write some SOP messages. He can write in some SOP messages. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Yeah, tell me. Here the exception raised in BM1 propagates to passes to BM2, caller of BM, and to main method, caller of BM2. Since we are catching and handling exception in the main method, the end user get to know the problem. The end user will get to know the problem. Come on, guys. The end user will definitely get to know the problem or not. At least now you are realizing how it is useful in real time. While learning core Java, I know your faculty said throws not so important. Only try catch is important. But try catch is important. I'm not saying not important. But throw and throws also equally important. This is the just solution one. Look at the solution too. This is the best solution. What it says, handle exception, propagation using try catch, and throw keyword. No, listen. I want to catch and handle in every layer. Come on. Okay. Now I want to catch and handle at the same time propagation I want to do. See, in certain business method, we need to write logics in catch blocks or finally blocks, like con dot rollback in catch block, closing JDBC connection objects in finally block. For that, we need to take support of try block. In such business method, it's recommended to place try catch finally plus throws and throw together as shown below. I'm writing JDBC code in DAO. In the finally block, I decided to close JDBC object. Can we write finally without try? Or in the catch block, I want to do some rollback operation. Can we write catch block without try? If I go for solution one, can I enjoy that luxury of having finally block, catch block? Can I enjoy that luxury of having finally block and catch blocks? Everyone getting my point? Check it out, guys. Class 1 BM1 method, try catch, throw E. Finally block, transaction close. Okay, catch block, roll back. So I can enjoy the luxury of having code in catch block and finally block. Whatever exception that is raised, I am rethrowing exception. See, throws is there, try is there, catch is there, finally is there, throw is there. That means I am catching and handling exception at the same time, rethrowing exception wherever need is there. So this exception will propagate to service. In service, I am not rethrowing exception. Come on, guys. What happened? It will propagate to main method. In main method, we are catching and handling exception so that exception related messages will go to end user as a non-technical guiding messages, na boss. As a non-technical guiding messages, na boss. Come on. Simply as non-technical guiding messages. What do you say, guys? Okay, this time what happened? We have a luxury of enjoying try-catch blocks. At the same time, propagation is happening. At the same time, exception propagation is happening. Did you enjoy this one or not? Aditya C, let us assume class 1 is what? Having D class. Okay, I want to close the JDBC objects in the finally block. Can we write finally block without try? Aditya, can you increase focusing on class? I think you are parallelly thinking somewhere. Aditya, last warning. I think you are parallelly thinking somewhere. Listen, guys. Let us assume class 1 is having, come on. Class 1 is having JDBC code. I want to close JDBC objects in finally block. I want to perform rollback operation in catch block. Can we take catch and finally without try? That's why. But at the same time, I want to go for exception propagation. Exception propagation. Right now, boss? Okay, that's why I am using throw statement. But if the exception that it is throwing is a checked exception, we must declare the exception to be thrown using throws, na boss. We must declare the exception to be thrown using throws, na boss, if it is a checked exception. If it is a checked exception, that's why throws is required, throw is required. Don't make me to teach core Java, Babu. Please, Naina. If throw is throwing unchecked exception, writing throws is optional. If throw is throwing checked exception, throws is mandatory. Now people ask me, what is checked exception, sir? Great, Babu. If the exception class is a direct subclass of exception, checked exception. Is a direct subclass of runtime exception, unchecked exception. Unchecked exception. Understanding my statement? Aditya 3 tells this method may throw exception. It really does not throw. Throw do that work. Throw is the actual keyword which actually throw the exception. Throws is just saying, I may throw this exception. Aditya, why don't you sit in core Java instead of eating my brain, please? Okay. Please, he's saying that already throws is there now. Why are you using throw? Worst fellow, throw itself throw the exception. This is just a decorative statement. A caller of BM1. This method may throw this exception. Be careful. That kind of decorative statement will be given by throws or not. Tell me, boys, in between throws and throw, who actually throw the exception? Throw na, throws na? Throw only. Then what's the use of throws? It's a decorative statement to the caller. Hey caller, while calling this method, be careful, I may throw this exception. That we can see by seeing throw statement. Throws is like a board kept in front of a gate. Be aware of dog. Throws is like be aware of dog board or not. Whoever entering into a house, they will be taking care of the dog by seeing that board. Either by bringing another dog or by bringing dog biscuits. They try to handle the situation by doing one or other thing based on the board they see, right? We don't have core Java class, sir. Why not there? Harikrishna sir class is there, Babu. Harikrishna sir class is there. Find out the batch and join. Throws is there as a decorative statement, reporting statement. Hey caller, be careful, this method may throw this exception. Yes, na boss? But throw is the real weapon who is doing that exception rethrow. Who is actually doing that exception rethrow. Everyone understanding my statement, guys? Okay, now what is the best solution, guys? Catch and handle exception, also rethrow the exception. Catch and handle the exception, also rethrow the exception. Modern style layered application, guys. Modern style layered application. Okay, tell me, guys. Client application, model class object, model class object, model class object, SQL query inputs. Super. Very important interview question. How do you propagate exception raised in DAO class to end user through client application? This is the question. How do you propagate exception raised in DAO class to end user through client application? In DAO, either only propagate exception like solution one, or we catch, handle, and propagate exception solution. In service class, we propagate exception. In controller class, we propagate exception. In client application, we catch and handle exception to display exception related messages as non-technical guiding message to end user. So the exception raised in DAO passes through service, controller classes, and comes to client application to display to end user with the non-technical guiding messages. I think now you got the clarity, boss. Tell me. In DAO class, either we just propagate the exception or we catch and handle propagate exception. Comes to service, here propagation. Come to controller, there also propagation. Come to client application. There we catch and handle exception to display exception related messages as non-technical guiding messages. What messages, guys? Non-technical guiding messages to end users. Non-technical guiding messages to end users. Tell me now, observe this one carefully, guys. Try-catch finally is old legacy style of programming in exception handling. Try with resource is modern style of programming in exception handling. Okay, now listen carefully. JDBC code in DAO class using try-catch finally. Check it out. Public insert student. Array nowadays Java being only na. Fine, BO, let's there what is there. Public insert student BO, STBO. Try JDBC code to execute insert query. Tell me what we are doing. Catch SQL exception. We are rethrowing the same exception. Catch exception. We are rethrowing the same exception. In the finally block, we are closing JDBC objects. This is one way of writing JDBC code in DAO class, guys. Come on, guys. Try JDBC code to execute insert query. We see throws exception. Here we are saying throws exception. That's the one thing. We are rethrowing exception. Exception rethrowing. Whatever raised exception, we are rethrowing exception. Rethrowing exception. We are rethrowing the exception. Rethrowing the exception. Rethrowing the exception. Okay, guys. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Okay, guys. Tell me. Sir, instead of both the catch block, I want to write single catch block. Then also fine, no problem. Then also no problem. That's not an issue, guys. But you want to roll back the transaction for other exceptions? No, no. You want to roll back the transaction only for SQL exception. That makes sense. For other problems, I don't want to roll back the transaction. I want to roll back the transaction only for database related problems. Then you have to separately write this. I hope you understood, guys. Okay, tell me here. Try, catch, throw, throws. All the 5 things are used. Even finally is also used in this. Even finally is also used. This is old style code, guys. This is old style code. Old style coding. Tell me what is the new style coding? JDBC objects are auto-closable objects from Java 8 onwards. So, if you open them using try with resource environment, they will be closed automatically at the end of the try. So, there is no need of working with finally block. There is no need of closing them in finally block. Check it out. Check it out, guys. You only observe these guys. DAO implements iStudent DAO. Array. Implementation class implementing interface. Public int student BO STBO throws exception. Okay, from Java 7 onwards, this is given. From JDBC, Java 8 onwards. I opened connection and statement objects in the try itself. Connection con is equal to driver manager dot get connection. Statement st is equal to con dot create statement. Where I created them within the try. Within the try, I closed them. Come on, guys. Within the try, I closed them. Are you listening my statement, my dear? Within the try, I closed them. Here, JDBC code to send and execute insert SQL query. At the end of the try, all objects will be closed, guys, automatically. Exception rethrowing, exception rethrowing. Is there any need of taking finally block here? Is there any need of taking finally block here? They will be closed automatically at the end of the try now, boss. But if any problem is raised, exception will be rethrown or not? Exception will be rethrown or not? Exception rethrowing. We implement all these things in our coding, Babu. Here also exception rethrow. Here also exception rethrow. Don't overlook the code. Exception rethrow. Check it out. Check it out. Class, method, try, having connection object and statement object. Here is the code. What is the code? JDBC code. Followed by try block, catch block. Again, catch block. Got it, my dear? Understanding my statement? Okay, actually, there's no need of saying con dot rollback also because connection is already closed now, boss. If you want, you can place, you have to place inside the try only. Con dot rollback also, you have to place inside the try only, right? Con dot rollback is used. For transaction management, Babu. One query executed. I want to roll back the query execution. You have not studied transaction management in JDBC classes. Con.dot commit for committing the query execution results. Con.dot rollback is for rollbacking the query execution results. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Okay. In try block itself, by checking the results of the query execution, we have to roll back. Okay, guys. No problem, guys. Don't worry about that small statement. Worry about overall outcome. Worry about conduct rollback is a small statement. Leave it. You worry about remaining part of the code. Is it not the main point? What is our main point? Okay. Is it not the main point? What is the main point here? How to use a try with resource, how to go for exception propagation. That is our main point now, boss. Leave it that. Okay. This is modern style, guys. This is modern style. Recommended one. This is a recommended one, where you don't have any need to close JDBC objects. It's a trending one. Trending means Java 7 onwards, it's a trending. Okay, guys. Super. See, this is the layered application, guys. Tell me. Complete layered application which I want to develop. Client application talks to main controller. Main controller talks with what? Service class. Customer operation management service IMPL implementing interface. Okay, talks to DAO class, implements DAO interface. With the DAO data source is injected, talking to database software. Right now, boss? Now have a look. Have a look. Dependent to service, interface implementation. Dependent to controller, interface implementation. Forever target class, no interface implementation. Client application is getting my main controller class object by calling ctx.getBean method or not. How data is passed across these layers, guys, in the form of model object, customer object. Here customer is model class or not? Here customer is model class. Here customer is model class. Now tell me what? In DAO, what is there? Persist CNOs, customer name, customer address, principal amount, interest amount. Okay, here calculate simple interest amount is the business logic. Okay, guys. Monitor the flow. Monitor the flow is the activity. Only monitoring activities will be there here. Only monitoring activities will be there here. Gives customer name, customer address, principal amount, rate of interest, time as inputs in the form of what? Model class object. No VO here. Everything is what? Model class object. We decided to work with the single Java bean only according to modern style in the form of model class object. I hope you got it. You may ask me one question, guys. You may ask me one question. Why DAO and service are implementing interfaces? In fact, data source also implements data source interface. Why controller is not implementing any interface? Data source is directly or indirectly dependent to DAO interface implementation. Okay, DAO is directly or indirectly dependent to service interface implementation. Service is dependent to controller interface implementation. And controller is forever target class now, boss. That's why there is no need of interface implementation. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Your main controller class is target class forever. So there is no need of making that class implementing interface. Whereas service class, DAO classes, data source classes are acting as dependent classes for other classes. So we are taking them implementing one or other common interface. Convinced, boss? Again, strategy design pattern coming into picture or not? Again, strategy design pattern coming into picture or not? Okay, tell me in the background how many points we learned, guys? What is data source? How does it points to connection pool? Connection pool advantages. Next, what is the problem of writing all logics in single class? What are the advantages of layered application? What are the advantages of layered application? How to pass the data across the layers? Okay, then we discussed about Java Bean, how to pass the data across the multiple layers of this layered application. Right. Today, our main focus is on when you have multiple classes in layered application, how to pass exception raised in last class to client application, last class to end user. So no option. Okay, last class should propagate the exception to last but one class. That one to last but two class. That one to last but three class. At the end, it should come to client application. At the end, it should come to client application. Clear, my dear? Got the point, my dear? Enjoyed it thoroughly? We are all set for example application development, layered application development. Revise your JDBC knowledge and come. Revise your JDBC knowledge and come. We all set for application development. Various tools used in modern build process of the project. Modern build process of the project. Upload here, guys. Browse, guys. Class content, Spring. What is there? 616. Spring Boot MVC. Spring Boot, sorry, it's not your batch. Spring 716, Spring Core, yes. Spring Core 21st. Okay, this is yesterday's document. This is today's document. Hema, yesterday's document and today's document. Okay. Please give new classroom code. Kavya, I don't suppose to give Google Classroom meeting information to you people. Collect from admin. If you are a legal student, you might have received Google Classroom along with the meeting ID. Everyone received Google Classroom ID along with the meeting ID? Okay. If you have not received some problem, some technical problem, some registration issues, please talk to admin. Core 2 is also there in the same, madam. There is no need of separate one. Core 2 is also part of the same. Yes, boss. There is issue in Google Classroom from Google, sir. No issue, sir. It's working properly. It's working properly, guys. Okay. Now, this is single video, but very useful video, guys. And I'm also passing, I think, did I pass the Maven videos to you people? Maven videos are given. Yeah. Maven videos and these two videos. Please watch them. In detailed Maven. What we used in the classroom is just required information. Right from the scratch, a detailed explanation is there. Okay, boss. Super. Maven videos and this one. This weekend you have to supposed to watch these videos. This weekend you are supposed to watch these videos, right? Okay, guys. Gayatri ji, please, where to join? Permission to join. Where? Gayatri ji, you might have got Google Classroom link. If not coming, contact the admin. Please contact the admin. Thank you, guys. We will meet on Monday. Next class is on Monday, guys. Thank you. Have a nice day. Okay. How to find other STS version? Sir, it is available in the same search option. Marketplace search option, other versions are there. Okay, guys. Can I learn front-end technology? Acha, someone is making controversy. Huh? No holiday is given for Sri Ram Navami. Array, for you, lot of festivals are there, lot of holidays will come. For that community, 1-2 festivals are there. If you don't give holiday for 1-2 festivals, how does it justify, boss? Come on, try to use common sense, Mr. Atul. Don't make it controversy for everything, Babu, please. Okay. You might have received a holiday for Ugadi, might have received a holiday for Diwali. Right. Don't follow Mr. Yogi too much. Your mind will be spoiled. Thank you.